I have presented lots of different types of meetings, but never this kind of a meeting. So please stay calm. All of you that are here, you already know who our guest is. But a couple of images can help us to refresh our memory. I have always tried to learn to defend this shirt. Thank you. You are fantastic. I love you very much. Thank you for having adopted me. I have built my career on humility. I have made a lot of friends in football, and you cannot imagine what I feel. Thank you very much. Javier Zanetti. I told you there would be a crowd. So, I've already told you, this is the most difficult introduction I've had to do, but also the most incredible. As you know, the meeting of this year is constructed around this meeting. It has been based around this particular meeting. Look at the logo. Should I say anything else? For the name, the number of the shirt of our captain, 40. Apart from this, Javier Zanetti, born in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. He played in the Talleres in Banfield. He played for Inter he's been playing for Inter since 1995. For 15 seasons, he was captain of Inter. He won 5 leagues, the Champions in 2010, World Cup, for clubs. In 2014, he decides to withdraw himself from football, and he undertakes the career of director. Here he is as vice president of Inter and member of the Organising Committee for FIFA competitions. Javier Zanetti has been a great player, but he continues to be a person who is able to attract young people. For for his way of being, for his way of living. So first of all, I'd like to thank you once more for having accepted our invitation here at the meeting. Thank you, Javier. So let's try and keep our applauses to a minimum. Let's begin from the present. So you have been outside of the changing rooms and from the fields for about 5 years now. Now you are director of Inter, the director for Inter. What does this mean for you? To be the managing director of such an important team. Are you nostalgic for your previous job, what you used to do? First of all, I thank you very much for this welcome. I'm very happy to be here. I really wanted to be here with you to tell you about my story and what I'm doing right now. It was not easy to take the decision to stop, to change my career. I began 20 years ago, and arriving at 41 years old, and I had injuries at my heel injuries, and I wanted to withdraw from playing. But I remember when I entered the changing rooms, and after what the public had shown me, that my time had come to end my career as a football player. It wasn't an easy decision, but my time had come. I didn't want to be a coach. I didn't want to stay on the sports practical side of things, but I wanted to become useful in another way. When the association let me know that I would have been vice president, I knew this was a huge responsibility. And to be honest, I didn't expect they would offer me this. I tried to go to university to learn after what I had done on the field. This was a new stage in my life. I wanted to be a champion in a different sense outside of the field. Everything that I did, I had to earn in my previous career. So two completely different cultures previously. I tried to become a point of union between the history of my club. There was a need to make our brand international. And so in the last 2 years, I tried to work on the specific projects. So I stayed very close to my team, and I'm very happy because I'm continuing to develop and learn, and not by developing what I had been doing for 20 years, but something else with a different vision, different horizons, but making myself always useful for Inter. Here you said something. You wrote a book, which is actually available here, which is to win win, but do more than that. There is an observation which struck me very much. Once you finished your career, your football career, the decision to remain in the sports sector was quite open to you because of how you had played, your leadership. And here you actually, instead of taking an easy way, you went back to the books, you went back to study. Because that was the easier way, the easier journey. I wanted to challenge myself on other kind of levels. When I was going for the ball, I never thought about what was on the side of the organizational side of an association, of a club. And now I'm outside of the field, and I'm understanding what is needed to support that club. So I'm on the other team, and I try to transmit as much as possible based on my experience as a football player. This is something that strikes me very much. In front of a very easy perspective to continue on, you decide to take on a role which is very important with a lot of responsibilities, and you, in a sense, are exposing yourself to having to learn once more. One of the most interesting things is that today we are afraid of challenging ourselves, of anything that implies a sacrifice is something that we usually avoid. This is why this second journey, this second different role that you chose, is what makes me very interested in your story. Your book is called Win, but Do More Than That. How does this title arise? Today, it seems that the only important thing is to win. Well, to learn how to win is to know how to lose. That is the first way to win. It is a defeat that makes you stronger. I think that that's what I learned during my whole career. The first years at Inter were not very simple. And all those losses, those defeats, helped me grow. And they enabled me to help me get back up and build my resilience. And this allowed me to win later on. This is something that we have to communicate to young people. Today, we often try to search for the easy way out. I think to arrive to success, you have to know how to face sacrifice. This is very important and a very interesting concept. We will probably come back to this. This idea of sacrifice, of effort, of not choosing the easy option, is very close to the theme of education, of the concept of education. At a certain point in your book, you say, "This is not a manual, because I have nothing to teach anyone." I could disagree with you a little bit on this point, because I think I do understand, however, in what way you mean this. You your objective was not to teach anything to anyone. But I have the impression that many champions, sport champions, are nevertheless, even involuntarily, they end up being models, role models for how they live. You have always been, you have always been a great example, a point of reference that many people have compared themselves to. What exactly in your life has given you the strength, the motivation, the energy to be able to always go towards this positivity? What do you think about education as a value? I would have to go back to my education when I was a young boy in my family. I lived a childhood, and I remember my father and my mother made many sacrifices for me. They were not easy times for us. My father was a builder, and my mum was a housewife. And this really accompanied me during my whole career, what they had done for me. Coming to Italy was a huge opportunity for me. And I brought all these values here with me to Italy. And they enabled me to arrive where to get me where I got to. An important time of my life was when I came home one day and I told my parents Inter had hired me, and I had to go to Italy, and they had to come with me. This is very beautiful. I wanted to dwell on this theme of family, which you describe in your book. What struck me was a couple of friends that have taken part in the food bank, Banco Alimentare. And you yourself have also participated at this food bank collection. And you brought your own children. We do it as a family. We have a supermarket next to my house. I live in Como, and I bring my whole family to participate in this beautiful initiative, because they need to see this event as well, these kind of initiatives, that there are other children with different histories, a different story behind them. My children who live a different reality, that have many opportunities, they have to understand that there are many children who suffer and that are not as lucky as they have been. So to do something for somebody else is a value that a child must have within them. This is another aspect which strikes me very much. We think Zanetti is a great football player. Now he's a great director. But I seem to grasp the idea that you have a great unity within your own family as well. That the idea that what we have is a gift, that we must be grateful. On this point, I would like to ask you a question. On the theme of education, there is a huge debate, a huge ongoing debate in Italy at the moment. In this meeting, we have the title of a poem by Pope John Paul II, in which the theme is that the identity of a person is based on dialogue. Since the theme of identity is very important, your name is Zanetti, which tells us your origin. This shows that you were originally Italian. You were son of Rodolfo, who was in turn son of Paolo Arcangelo Zanetti. You were born in Argentina, and then you came to Italy. Do you feel Italian yourself, or do you obviously you feel more Argentinian, but do you feel Italian yourself? And what does Italian mean? Exactly. Do you feel a sort of sense of belonging to this community?
Yes, I'm Argentinian, but I don't feel Italian too. I feel Italian, full stop. I will always be thankful to this country because it welcomed me, even though I came from abroad and gave me a unique opportunity. I'm proud of being a father of three. All three of them are Italians, and I'm proud of this. Because Italy is my home. Unfortunately, when after the match at San Siro, Italy did not qualify for the World Championship, I had brought my three children to the stadium. All the three of them were wearing the shirt of Italy, and they were all crying. And this struck me because this made me very happy. My wife and I are Argentinians, that's our motherland, but seeing my children so affectionate to Italy makes me extremely happy and so attached to this country. This is extremely beautiful because you say that you feel completely Argentinian and completely Italian, and here at the meeting many times we talk about origins. This happens for Argentinians as well as Egyptians, people from Morocco, Italians, second, third generations of people who came to Italy, and they feel part of both cultures. They feel Italians, and so I believe this is a trait that defines Italians and is shared by many people. Now, back to Javier Zanetti's history. We could say that nowadays everyone looks for leadership. Everyone wants to be followed by someone. And not only politicians, but also companies, schools, and so on. Everyone is looking for some kind of leadership and authority. You are now vice president of Inter. You were captain of Inter for a very long time. And that's something that struck me. The most important question here is, how do you actually become a leader? But I would like to add something to this. In your book, you say something very interesting. The secret of all is never skipping a training session. And then you add that now you miss more the training sessions more than the matches. So what does this have to do with leadership, not missing a training session with leadership? Because you become a leader by setting an example. A leader is not the one who raises his voice or runs faster. Your behavior makes you a leader. I've always behaved this way. It's a question of attitude. I've always respected everyone. I've always talked to everyone, because before becoming captain, when they when I became captain, I remained myself. You you should not change your attitude because you're captain. So this is a crucial point, because otherwise people do not respect you, and in difficult times you're the one who has to unite everyone and bring everyone together. You have to find compromises, you have to to solve problems with your teammates and find a common objective. With all of my teammates, I've always done that. I've been the captain of huge champions that could have easily been captains, but they have always respected me. And this has always been extremely important for me, because I always put the group first. I always put my personal interest behind, after the interest of the group. So, uniting a group is fundamental to achieve important goals. That's a beautiful answer, but I'd like to go back to this, because someone could say, well, Zanetti is Zanetti, he is an exceptional talent. Pelé said he's one of the greatest footballers of all time, among the 20 greatest footballers of all times. So, despite all your training sessions and everything you've done, someone could say, well, but I'm just a common person. Zanetti is special. So, does what you say apply to common people too? We all have talents, but you need to train your talent. You need to build your talent. And we are all important. When you least expect it, you have an opportunity, and you have to be ready, because I am good at something, you're good at something else, and if we unite all of this, then we can achieve success. So, the last thing about leadership. While I was preparing this conference, I thought that it's very difficult to be a captain of a football team, because, yes, you are the team's leader, but then you also have the coach. And then there's the president. So, the captain has to follow the coach. He's a guide, but he also follows, because if he becomes the real leader, then he goes against the coach. So it's quite a difficult role to play. What about your relationship with your coaches and presidents? You've been captain. You've met many coaches and many presidents. How did you deal with this? Well, I believe that when we all cooperate, presidents, coaches, and footballers, to solve problems, then it all becomes easier. For example, during the triplete year, coaches, presidents, they were all great people. They understood what the team wanted, what it meant to wear the Inter shirt. They understood that we were doing something special. So we had a common goal. We had Mourinho as a coach, Merati was our president, and our team was just unique. So yes, we all perfectly remember this. So let's go back to making our life difficult. Because the easiest way for you would have been to become a coach. Instead, you became a director. And maybe one of the most important things about this new career is that even when you still were a footballer, you decided, together with your wife, Paola, to create the Pupi Foundation. Before going into detail, we have a clip to show you. Pupi is a place for education. We give food, we provide materials to study, we play with the children, and we teach them that they have a brighter future in their hands and they can build this future. We need the help of everyone to achieve new goals and to bring many smiles. Help us with the Pupi Foundation. Could you please tell us something about this foundation? How did this idea come about? Well, after football, this foundation is my second passion. First of all, why the name Pupi? Well, that was my nickname in Argentina. I arrived to Italy in 1995, and every time I went back to my country, I would see so many problems. I saw children suffering a lot. And so, together with Paula, we were thinking of what we could do for our children in Argentina. Paula was born in a favela, in a place where I started playing football. And together with social workers, we tried to find all of the children in the most difficult situations, in very high-risk situations. And after a while, we realized that, yes, maybe we were helping one child, but this child had 4 or 5 siblings. These children didn't have mothers, fathers, grandmothers. So we decided to focus on projects that could involve the whole family. 2001 was a very difficult year for Argentina. You may remember what happened in our country. And so this is why we decided to create this foundation. We started with 34 children. Now we're helping 250 children who visit the foundation every day. In Italy, the foundation involves more than 1,000 people, both children and families. And here I want to thank the Italian people once again, because the Italian people helped me helped my foundation grow. They showed me support in all of my initiatives and in all of the initiatives of the foundation. And right now, the Italian people is helping children living 15,000 kilometers away. So this shows how attentive the Italian people is. I always say that the Pupi Foundation is a big family because there are so many people who want to help. And this makes me very proud. I'm proud of providing children with a brighter future in a difficult society. And I want to continue doing this. I hope my foundation keeps on growing, and I hope we can help as many children as possible. I think that here at the meeting there's a part of this great Italian people that you've mentioned and that is ready to help. I believe that it is definitely possible to help each other. And I wanted to ask you what your main projects are at the moment and how you work. What's your approach? Well, we accompany children to school in the morning, then we collect them, they have lunch with us. During the after lunch, they have extra activities, they have a snack with us, and then we take them back home. We try to teach them all the important values that can help them grow in a healthy environment. We have health projects, sports projects, not only football. There are many more sports that children can choose. There are projects for the parents, and now we're opening a new sports center at 500 kilometers from Buenos Aires, which is a very difficult area. When the shirt number, my shirt, the number 4, was taken out, then we organized special activities, and we always try and launch things that can show that we are reliable and that we're doing something good. Right now, at this foundation, at our headquarters, I see so many happy faces. The children show me the marks they get at school, and they are all great. The children are extremely happy. So I believe that we will go on with all of our projects, and I also have to thank all the people that work in Argentina every day, because they are the real force, the real strength of this foundation. And our foundation involves about 50,000 people. There are about 50,000 people working for us, professionals included. So, an important question: how can we help the Pupi Foundation? Well, you saw all of our websites. You can write to us. You can find our history there. It's not just about financial support. There are many ways you can help us. Many Italians come to Argentina and visit our headquarters to see what we do, and they provide us with help. So that's great. And many times our children just need a hug, and that's enough. Because for them a hug is fundamental. Showing affection to these children is fundamental, because they need it, and it's all worth it. I'm sure that we will keep on working together for this, and we will help you and your foundation. You may have seen here at the meeting how many ONGs, NGOs there are, and how many NGOs we help, so I'm sure we can help your foundation too. Not only because we really believe that you're doing something important, but also because your foundation stresses the value of people, and I think we have this in common, and I'm sure we'll be very happy to provide any kind of help that we can. Now we're running out of time, so I wanted to touch upon something that we may have already mentioned, and that stems from the hug we can give to the children. right now we see poverty, pain, and many times we prefer to look the other way and forget about this. You are a very lucky man, you have a great job, so it really strikes me to see how bad you want to do something good. Because this is not something that common. Of course, there are many exceptions, but it's usually exceptions and not the rule, because you don't look away. And I just wanted to mention that the meeting was born the same way. Volunteers giving their time to build this place, which is a place of dialogue and encounters. And at the very basis, there's the Christian faith. Not only the Christian faith, but many religions actually. There's the Christian Catholic faith, as well as many others. Many other options and different religions that here meet. I wanted to ask you, what role does religion play in your life and in your initiatives? Does religion influence the way you see football and everything else?
Faith has a huge role for me in my life. Since I was a child, I was always a very strong believer. And the desire to help others, one has to feel it inside themselves, in their heart. Because when you help somebody, you feel good. And the world would be more beautiful if there were more people that could come together and help others. Before, when you were talking about bringing different religions together here at the meeting, I thought about what Pope Francis, when he had just been elected as Pope, I had the chance to meet him, and he's a great football expert. And he asked me, he had a great idea to organize an interreligious match. And so Pope Francis asked me, I couldn't obviously say no. And this was truly a beautiful initiative in which I felt and I understood his desire to communicate this unity to the world. And in 5 months, we got together and we began to organize this match, calling many different champions of different religions. And it was a great success. 120 emissaries from all the world, from the whole world. 120 channels had been distributed. And with my family, my children, I had the chance to meet Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict Ratzinger. And my youngest son, who was 1 month old, I had the chance that he got to kiss his forehead. And he is also another compatriot. He's from my country. When he was nominated Pope, when he was appointed Pope, I had just come back from a match. I finished my dinner. And I got messages, loads of messages, Argentinian Pope, Argentinian Pope. And the first time I met him, something unique happened to me that really struck me. I found a person who was a great simplicity. And the only thing that was missing was the mate, the Argentinian drink. And this is what I like about Pope Francis. The familiarity, the closeness of this father that really struck me. And the following times that I met him, I always saw him as very man with great care, especially towards young people. We could say you were both two Argentinians of Italian origins who became successful in Italy. Italy is a hospitable country. I think that there is not much more that we can add to this. We don't have much time left. And he also used this time, sacrificed this time from his family, even though this dialogue has been very familiar and very enjoyable. And at Moratti, we built a church.
We even made Moratti build a church because on Saturdays when we trained together, a priest would come and celebrate the Mass for us. So
I am very devout to Saint Rita. He gave us a big hand. Saint Rita gave us a big hand in this. I was in the same room as Cordova. I was sleeping in the same room as Cordova, and he's also very much a believer. And I was very devout to Saint Rita. At midnight, after the 21st, I lit a candle for Saint Rita. I managed to sleep, but I'm not sure about him. Maybe for fear, Cordova, maybe for fear of a fire. But this is how it went. I think that what is very clear is, from what you're saying, is that what is the most impressive thing about Pope Francis is his simplicity, and we can tell from what you told us. Faith is this positivity, this positive idea that there is something good that is guiding everything, that everything does not depend on us. And this gives us the possibility to not choose the easy way out, the easy option. And the idea that the world is not only what we see at face value, and that Saint Rita gives us a hand every so often. I thank Javier Zanetti very much for this gift, this great gift. Thank you.
Grazie a te. Grazie. Grazie.
Grazie di
No.